Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's been probably about 8 months, but I'm back. Better than ever and ready to film. Even though I've only ever posted one video. But maybe that'll change. I'm having a feeling that it will change starting today. We'll see, I guess. Maybe I'll try to hold myself accountable a little more. Today, I decided that I wanted to do a book tag just to get it, a fun little quick video so that I can edit, get it out there, and start doing reading vlogs and reading wrap-ups and stuff like that. So today, I have a book tag and I have all of the questions here on my laptop, on my little Notion. So some of these questions, I just looked up book tag questions. Other questions are from Steph Bohrer's book tag that she posted, I don't even know how long ago, but we're just gonna go through them and hopefully you get some recommendations. I have some of the physical copies, not all of them, and there will be repeats. But so let's get on with the video. The first question is, what is the last book that you finished? The last book that I finished was Electric Idol by Katie Robert. It was pretty good. I think I gave it like a 3.5, 4 stars. I liked it better than the other books in this series. Not all the other books. Hades and Persephone will always and forever have my heart, no matter what series, what book it is. I absolutely love Hades and Persephone. Electric Idol is about, who is it? Psyche and Eros. It is about Psyche and Eros, and basically Eros is told that he has to kill Psyche. But he kind of has like feelings for her, like a little bit, even though it was kind of weird because they had like just met and just started talking before he caught feelings. But he was like, I don't actually want to kill you, let's get married. So it's a marriage of convenience, trying to get her, safe from his mother, who called the hit on her. I think it's only over a couple days, which was also weird to me. Like, they got married and then maybe like a whole week later they said I love you. I don't know. I only read it because I thought there would be a lot of smut, and I was like, I needed a palette cleanser. I just needed something with a lot of smut. This wasn't it. There wasn't a whole lot. Probably should have picked up another Katie Robert book. Those ones had a lot of smut, not this one. I did like it though. I think their love story was adorable, although it was very fast, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. So the next question is an underrated book recommendation. A book that doesn't get a whole lot of hype. Honestly, I think I only heard about this book once before I picked it up. I read it on my Kindle and I read it in less than 24 hours. I just could not put it down. I was at my friend's beach house last year and I remember I got to her house after work that night and I was just reading it all night. I woke up the next morning, we were going whale watching. I was reading the book on the whale watch, like not even paying attention to the whales. I don't think there were whales there that day, but either way, I didn't see them. I was too busy. And that book is Bittersweet Memories by Katharina Mora. Oh my God. I remember seeing it on a TikTok. I only saw it on a TikTok and I was like, I need to know what it's about. And you start reading it. It was just so good. Like the back of the book, the little description, you wouldn't even know what you're getting. The plot twist is crazy. The love story is adorable. And Silas has my whole heart and soul. It's one of the best books. I absolutely adored it. The next question is the last book you bought. I actually went to the store with my friend Sam a couple days ago. We went to Barnes and I got 3 books. I got Ricochet by Kristen Becker Ritchie. I haven't read Addicted to You yet. I plan on reading it, but I haven't read it yet. I only usually buy 1 book at a time when it comes to series, because like if I don't like the first book, then it was a waste of money to get the second. Same like goes for all the books. But usually if I like the first book, I'll get the rest of the series. But this was on sale. It was like 10 bucks at Barnes. I was like, might as well. Normally it's 17. I'm gonna save that 7 bucks. I don't know why it was $10. Like all the pages look like they're there. It doesn't look like it's ruined in any way. The next book I got is The Book Eaters by Senya Dean, and I got this because I was watching a YouTube video by, I think her name's Sarah, and she said that she got this because it sounded super interesting, and I read the back and I was like, yeah, so it's about a world where the people eat books, obviously. The the book eaters is what the book is called. So they eat the books to retain the information from the book. Basically, on the back it says that one of the main characters, her kid, instead of being hungry for books, is hungry for human minds, the ones that have the information from the books. So I was like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. I'm gonna get it. It's also, I think, a YA. Oh, this is why you should look in the book before you buy it. Look at how small that writing is. Okay, we're gonna ignore that. I'll probably get to this at some point. Maybe in the fall. It feels like it might be a fall read, like for October or something like that. But it's a YA, so I'm hoping it's like super easy to understand and comprehend, because I'm not good with fantasy or dystopian or anything that's not romance set in this physical world. Moving on. The last book I got is A Game of Gods by Scarlett Sinclair. I am currently reading the Hades and Persephone series, and I'm gonna read the Hades series. I didn't know that you were supposed to read them together, and so I didn't have the Hades series. I didn't even know that existed. Now that I do know it exists, I have the first book in the series, and I guess this is a third book. A mistake on my part, but you know what? At least I have it. I can get the second book. The only reason I got it was because it said 50% off. Buy one, and so I got it. Naturally, I don't know where the other book was. If I did know, I probably would have gotten this and the other book instead of Book Eaters, but I couldn't find it, so I got this. But I'm very excited. I don't really know what it's about. I don't read the back of books. I just don't. It's not my thing. If I like the cover, I'll get it. I rarely ever read the back of the book. I only get it usually if I see it on someone else's YouTube channel. The fourth question are popular books you didn't enjoy. There's two. And I know that like it was either hit or miss for a lot of people with these books, but I absolutely hated They Both Die at the End. And my old roommate was so pissed at me when I told her. I was like, I can't stand it. So before I read it, I watched Jack Edwards' video on it, and he said that he read it. He was like, it was good, but they just didn't do enough. Like, there were so many things they could have done. And so going into it, I knew that that's what he thought, and then I started reading and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I see what he's talking about. I just didn't like it. I didn't feel the connection between the two characters. I didn't feel a connection to either of the characters. I feel like with that kind of book, to get the full extent of the feelings and the emotions that the author was trying to draw out of you, there should have been a better connection, but I just wasn't feeling it. It was just not connecting. So I didn't like that. Another book that I wasn't a huge fan of, that my roommate and everyone else will definitely hate me for, was Shatter Me. I read the first 3 books, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was waiting for Warner. I love Warner with all my heart, but he was the only reason I read the book, and he wasn't even in it. Like, halfway through the first book, he was gone. He was not there in the second book. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Also, I think Juliet is the biggest pick-me girl, and it just grinds my gears. It really does. I can't get past it. She plays the victim a lot. And then poor Adam. I hated Adam, like with a passion from the beginning. I always loved Warner. I always hated Adam. But I felt bad for him because she was like, in her head, the whole second book, she was like, oh my God, like, I like Aaron, but what about Adam? Like, just choose one. It's not that hard. Anyways. Hi. He is an attention whore. This is Nicholas. Here, I'll show you. This is Nicholas. Question number 5, what is your most recent DNF? I have 2. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. And you can see I left the bookmark in there and everything. I have full intention of going back. Not really though, because I figured out what it was about, and the writing is absolutely horrendously small. It's embarrassing. I don't know why anyone would ever do that. Gone Girl, and then A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. Again, the bookmark is still in there. I really liked it. I just couldn't get through it. And honestly, I'm convinced it's because it's set in winter. I'm not feeling the vibe right now. I feel like it's a winter book. I need to read this in the fall or the winter. And so I'm putting it down until then. I did like it though. It's very nice. I haven't explained any of the books for the past, like, dear God. Okay, I'll explain what this one's about because I actually enjoy this one. So this book is about Wren Beaumont and who is it? Someone Lancaster. I don't even really know what his name is. Crew Lancaster. Go me. So it's about Wren and Crew, and Wren is a super good girl at their prep school. She has a purity ring. That's how good she is, apparently. Crew's family owns a school, so he's very popular, and I think he's seen as like a bad boy, but I'm not getting bad boy vibes. I'm just getting neglected by his father vibes. So daddy issues little Crew has a thing for Wren, has had a thing for Wren since she arrived at the school. Wren is like, no, I'm a good girl, you need to stay away from me. They're assigned as partners on a project and they can't switch. They asked the teacher, she said no, so they're stuck together, and it's basically like they spent all this time together on this project, and he's doing nice things for her, they're working on the project together, they're getting a little spice. I did make it, I think, a little like further than 50%, so let's hope I get back to it at some point, because I think I would really like it if I read it to the end. What book do you tell people is your favorite when they ask you, like, out in public? If they're not my friends all know I love the smut. Smut is probably one of my favorite things. We're not going to deep dive into that. In public, I don't really want to tell people, oh my god, go read this book that's full of smut. They'd honestly probably think I'm crazy. So this is another one of my favorites. But if someone asks me in public that I don't know, this is what I say. I hand them the Song of Achilles. I don't even need smut when I have this. I'm not even lying to you. Achilles, Patroclus, I love it. I got this copy for Christmas and it has blue pages. It's so cute. It's so cute. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It's a Greek retelling about Achilles and Patroclus. It's super popular, so if you haven't heard what it's about, I don't know where you've been. Like, Madeline Miller made Achilles and Patroclus like boyfriends, essentially. Like, they're in love, they're happy together, and the ending shook me to my core. Actually, my friend read it and she called me sobbing, bawling her eyes out about this book. And she was like, I'm so broken right now, but I don't feel broken. I feel completely like happy and whole, but I feel broken. And I was like, yeah, that's what this book does to you. It breaks you, but it also puts you back together, and that's what it's about. She loved it. It's a little difficult to understand at the beginning, so you're not going to understand it at the beginning, but you got to push through until the beach, and then you're good. It's smooth sailing after that. You'll understand almost everything, but the world building at the beginning is very difficult, especially as a new reader. I read this when I was a new reader. It was one of my first books back into reading since middle school, and I read it, I think, the year I was going into college, so like 2 or 3 years ago. Just get through it. Just get through the first couple chapters and you're good. I promise. It's so worth it. What's a book that you will never admit is your favorite? I think I cheated a little on this one because all of my friends know it's my favorite, but I would never, ever. Just kidding. I probably would. If people ask me on the street what my favorite book is, I'm not gonna say this book. And that book is Haunting Adeline. Oh, it's so good. Zade Meadows, he's mine. I am trying to convince Sam to read it. I feel like she might like the book. Either that or she will run for the hills, but I think she'd like it. Haunting Adeline is about Addie and Zade. Addie is a writer and she moves into her grandmother's house, and all of a sudden she has a stalker. Zade is the stalker. He keeps like coming into her house, leaving her flowers with the thorns cut off. Oh my god, the thorns! He cut off the thorns so that she wouldn't like prick her finger, you know? Adorable. So he would like go in, he would talk to her. Eventually he started talking to her. First she was a little creeped out, and then she like saw him and she saw what he looked like, and she was like, oh, he's kind of hot, he's kind of sexy, not gonna lie. But the whole book is her literally just like, I don't like him, but I do like him, but I shouldn't like him because he's my stalker, but I do like him. The next book we'll talk about is a book that I read in one sitting. I think I read it January 1st into January 2nd. I pulled an all-nighter for this book. and that is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything about how bad this book was, okay? I loved it. It's so good, okay? I don't know why. It was gripping. I was on the edge of my seat. It was also nighttime and I read it in the dark and it was scary. Can't emphasize enough how much I loved it. But so it's about Lowen and Jeremy and Verity. Verity and Jeremy are married, but Verity had like some major freak accident and now she can't write her books. So they hire Lowen to write her books for her. And while she's writing the book, she's staying at their house. And Verity is staying upstairs in her room, literally can't talk, eat, sleep on her own. So it was kind of weird that they had her upstairs now that I think about it. And Lowen finds this autobiography that Verity wrote. And you unlock a bunch of Verity's secrets. As the story goes on, things get creepier and creepier, but she also keeps falling for Jeremy. The ending kind of caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it was very good. I enjoy it. Sam, I know you're watching it. You're gonna read it. I promise you that. As soon as, you know, you're done with your whole TBR pile that I keep throwing at you. Anyways. A book that deserves all the hype it gets. It got so much hype. Honestly, the whole series got so much hype. This book got so much hype on TikTok, on BookTube, on everywhere. And it wasn't the book, it was the whole series, but this book got the most hype because everyone was like, Reese Larson is the best boyfriend ever. Yeah, he is. I love this man. I love this book. I want to be Bridget. It's delicious, delectable, and so worth the money that I spent on it. It wasn't a lot of money, but I spent money and every single page, every single word is worth it. So it's about Princess Bridget and her bodyguard, Reese Larson. They have a little banter at first. They don't like each other. He's like, you might be the boss, but I'm in charge because I'm taking care of you. I'm making sure you're safe, so you have to listen to me. And she was like, what? They end up having this little banter and then they move into this comfortable harmony. Eventually they start liking each other. But then something happens and she has to go back to her country and everything gets flipped upside down for her. Her whole life just goes upside down, out the window, down a pothole, through the sewage system. She's just like horrified. She doesn't know what to do. Reese is there for her every step of the way. He helps her out. He actually gets fired, but then he comes back and gets rehired, I think, or he's just back trying to win her back. But either way, Reese puts in the effort. What book would you want to live in? It's not a book. It's not a book. Let me get them. The books are the Briar U off-campus series. I love them. I started reading them and then I recommended them to Sam and now we read them together. She's actually ahead of me because she's been reading the Briar U series. I just finished The Chase, but if I could live in any books, any book world, it would be this one. The off-campus Briar U series follows a bunch of hockey players in college. In the off-campus series, all of them go to Briar U, which is a university just outside of Boston. Yeah, I know. It's like my whole life. I love Boston. So part of me is like, it would be so easy to live in this world because I already do kind of live in it. And then also, I just love all the boys, all the characters. They all have my heart. Mainly Garrett, Logan, and Fitzy. Fitzy? I love him. Yeah, so it just follows all of the hockey players on the Briar U hockey team. And then I think there's one in the Briar U series that's on the Harvard team, which is the rivals. It follows the guys and their girlfriends and how they got together. I do have to say my favorites are Garrett, Logan, and Fitzy's stories. Dean's story is a runner-up, very close to all three of those. Honestly, I don't like, what was his name? Tuck. I was not a fan of Tuck. I would love to live in these books, in this series, The last question I have is a book that made you cry. A lot of books made me cry. I'm a crier. I'm emotional when it comes to my books. If he had been with me, oh my, that I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought I was gonna hate that book. I did not like the way it was written at first. I know it's based in middle school and high school, but it was very middle school and high school, and I could not handle it. I was not happy. But I remember I was at my mom's house and I was reading it, and I just could not put it down. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get through it. I'm gonna read the whole book. I got to the end. I got through that book, and it was 3 a.m. and I was crying. I might have a picture though, but oh, it was brutal. I texted my friends freaking out. I was like, why didn't you tell me this happened? Like, we all knew he died, but oh my God, I was just so attached to him. Like, the ending was so uncalled for. It's not a spoiler. It's literally in the description on the back, and it's in the first chapter. I cried for days after that. Editing me popping in right now because I finished editing the video and realized that I didn't do an outro. So here is me saying thank you so much for sticking around and watching the video today. And if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more of me. If not, your loss, honestly. I'm hilarious. Anyways, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.